Okay, so normally my YouTube videos lately have been like community topics or like discussion points, but today I actually wanted to bring some pretty interesting news that I came across whenever I was doing some sims, kind of doing some updates on Wowhead Guide, that kind of thing. And so for a lot of classes, if you look and you saw the Annulet ring from the Forbidden Reach, it was pretty bad for a lot of specs, right? Some were simming in something in the order of 35, 50 item levels downgrade, pretty much everybody having across the board except for like tanks and healers. Pretty steep downgrade. More often than not, you ended up just wanting like crafting alternatives. Recently, as in within the past 12 hours, 10 hours even recently, there's been a build of the primordial stones that has been found, which means that with this prophetic twilight stone and this Desirous bloodstone, they work together super well. For the purposes of this, the Desirous bloodstone counts as a heal. And what the Desirous bloodstone is dealing damage has a chance to drain life, dealing shadow damage, and healing you for that amount. And then the Twilight Stone is damaging effects from your primordial stones trigger one of your healing effects and vice versa. And so what this does is these two stones work together and basically means that whenever they combine damage with any primordial stone in the third slot, all procs from the bloodstone will also trigger the damage stone's effect, and all procs from the damaging stone will trigger the bloodstone's effect. And then that normally in combination with the humming arcane stone for like ranged DPS such as Moonkin, or any of the other freezing ice stone, echoing thunderstone, storm infused stone, those things are actually quite strong. Obviously, like the storm infused stone is going to be pretty good for AoE, whereas the freezing ice stone, the echoing thunderstone, or the humming arcane stone for single target are pretty solid. As it's stated here, we're not sure if this interaction is intended. However, this is a huge upgrade over the other options. And so previously, whenever I was simming this stuff, this ring was the equivalent of like a 395 crafted ring. Basically worthless, no point in wearing it at all. Now, with this very specific setup, it is 0.6% better than a crafted ring, but that's only on pure single target, right? Where it's, a few hundred DPS better, which is a lot for a ring. A few hundred DPS just for a ring slot is actually a pretty steep increase. But then for AoE, it's still a pretty stark loss, somewhere in the thousands of DPS to, like 5% or so. I was running it in a couple of M+ runs that I was in and trying to get some numbers on it. And it seemed like it was doing a little bit better than the Sims would like to make you think on AoE, because like a Mythic Plus situation is a lot more single target and AoE combined. It kind of really just depends on the class, that kind of thing. And so it was doing a little bit better than the Sims would show. But I don't think it's necessarily an upgrade over crafter rings. But I think for raid in particular, this crafter ring is definitely something you should pick up. And you should also likely have it going into next tier, because there are a lot of single target bosses in the raid. But yeah, so that's kind of what I wanted to bring your attention to. There is this interaction with the ring that is fairly strong, and so you should go to the Forbidden Reach. You should do some of the stuff where you're picking up the ring and see if there are any other combinations that kind of get discovered. But I have a suspicion that this is definitely going to be one that might get fixed. I don't want to say definitely. It might get fixed, but at the same point, it does leave these stones in a state where they are quite strong. You can also upgrade the stones from 411 item level. You need unstable Elementium, and you need dust from grinding the shards down, and then you also need like some jewel crafting material. You have to work order the unstable Elementium to be able to upgrade those rings. But yeah, overall, this is the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys find the ring particularly useful, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.